What if everything you know about the bottom of our world is a carefully curated lie? It happened in a heartbeat. Thousands were watching the live ISS feed when the clouds over the Antarctic parted to reveal something impossible. Before the brain could even process the geometric shadows on the ice, the screen went black. Signal loss, they claimed. But the coordinates don't lie. This wasn't a glitch. This was a panicked veil pulled over a forbidden truth. Imagine you are sitting in a darkened room, eyes glued to the high-definition live stream from the International Space Station. It's a peaceful view of our blue marble until the station begins its silent sweep over the deep southern latitudes. Suddenly, the atmospheric haze over the Antarctic clears with impossible clarity. For exactly 12 seconds, the camera captures something that shouldn't exist. A massive, perfectly hexagonal structure glowing with an eerie rhythmic pulse deep within the ice shelf. Before you can even rub your eyes or call someone into the room, the screen snaps to a cold, flat blue. Signal loss, the text reads. NASA officials later blamed a routine solar flare, but the data logs show the sun was silent that day. This wasn't a technical glitch, it was a manual kill switch. Why is the most sophisticated space agency in history terrified of a few frames of frozen wasteland? This map was never supposed to be seen by civilian eyes, and the panic in that control room tells a story the official press release never will. To understand the blackout of 2026, we have to look back to a dusty shelf in Istanbul in 1513. There, an Ottoman admiral named Piri Reis compiled a world map that has haunted historians for centuries. On this ancient gazelle skin parchment, he drew a coastline of the Antarctic continent with startling precision. But here's the terrifying part. He drew it without the ice. Modern seismic imaging confirms that the coastline rise drew matches the subglacial landmass of Queen Maud Land, terrain that has been buried under a mile of solid ice for at least 6,000 years. How did a 16th century sailor know the shape of a continent that hadn't been discovered yet? Or more importantly, how did he know what was underneath the frost? The official narrative says humanity didn't see this land until 1820. Piri Reis proves that someone, or something, was mapping the poles long before our recorded history began. It suggests the ice is not a permanent feature, but a shroud covering the ruins of a forgotten epoch. In the winter of 1946, the United States didn't send a research team to the South Pole. They sent an invasion force. Led by the legendary Admiral Richard E. Byrd, Operation High Jump involved 4,700 troops, 13 ships, and multiple aircraft. The official story was scientific exploration, but the cargo told a different tale: heavy weaponry and combat-ready Marines. Byrd's journals, later leaked by those close to him, spoke of a silent enemy lurking behind the ice walls. On the final day of the mission, something went catastrophically wrong. Byrd's fleet retreated months ahead of schedule, leaving behind equipment and a trail of unanswered questions. Upon his return, Byrd gave a chilling interview to the International News Service, warning that the United States must prepare for an enemy that could fly from pole to pole with incredible speed. He wasn't talking about the Soviets. He was talking about craft that emerged from the water and the ice like phantoms. The military immediately classified his findings and moved the entire operation into the shadows. What did they find in that silent white desert? Some say they found a remnant of a lost civilization. Others suggest they found a base that wasn't built by human hands. Every time the ISS feed cuts today, it's because those same phantoms are still there, moving in the shadows of the ice, reminding the powers that be who truly owns the southern heights. The air grew cold as Byrd realized they weren't the explorers. They were the intruders in someone else's territory. If you have enough money, you can fly anywhere on Earth, except for a specific, massive, donut-shaped region centered over the South Pole. Try to plot a flight path there, and you will find your GPS data drifting, your compasses spinning in madness, and a very stern warning from military air traffic control. These no-fly zones are strictly enforced by an international coalition that otherwise can't agree on a single trade deal. Why is the most desolate, uninhabited place on the planet more protected than the White House? Pilots have whispered about geometric anomalies in the atmosphere, massive, shimmering distortions that look like glass domes. When commercial satellites pass over these coordinates, the images often come back blurred or under maintenance. It's as if a digital veil has been draped over the bottom of the world. The feed cuts because the ISS isn't just seeing ice. It's seeing the infrastructure of a global secret. Every time a civilian gets too close, the signal loss happens like clockwork. They aren't protecting the environment. They are protecting the entrance. This level of security isn't for a desert of snow. It's for something that would change our understanding of physics forever if it were caught on a 4K live stream. In 2006, NASA's GRACE satellites detected something massive beneath the Wilkes Land ice sheet. It wasn't just a mountain or a crater, it was a mass concentration, a 300-mile-wide anomaly so dense it actually alters the gravity in the region. Scientists publicly claim it's an asteroid impact from 250 million years ago, but the energy signatures tell a different story. Whistleblowers from the Raytheon Corporation, which manages logistics at the pole, have spoken of the green flash, not a natural phenomenon, but a beam of concentrated energy that occasionally shoots from the ice into the upper atmosphere. This is why the feed cuts. These energy pulses create electromagnetic interference that fries civilian equipment. When the ISS passes through this beam, the feed is manually killed to prevent the public from seeing the source. A gargantuan metallic structure, buried miles deep, older than the ice itself, and still partially active. We are told the Antarctic is a dead continent, but the heat map suggests something is warming up deep underground. The ice is melting from the bottom up, not because of the sun, but because of what we've awakened beneath the Wilkes Land shelf. The deeper we dig, the more the machines scream, and the more NASA hides the truth. Think about the state of our world. Nations are at each other's throats over oil, borders, and religion. Yet there is one document that has remained untouched and respected since 1959, the Antarctic Treaty. It forbids any nation from claiming the land, building permanent military bases, or exploring for minerals. On the surface, it's the world's greatest environmental victory. In reality, it is a non-aggression pact between the elites. They aren't protecting the penguins. They are guarding a gateway. Every world leader, from John Kerry to the Patriarch of the Russian Orthodox Church, has made strange, unannounced trips to the ice. Why? Because they are being briefed on what lies below. The signal loss on the NASA feed is a diplomatic necessity. If the public saw the massive, obsidian gates or the unnatural lights of the subterranean bases, the social contract would evaporate overnight. They keep us looking at our phones and our small-scale wars, so we don't look at the map and wonder why the most important place on Earth is the only one we aren't allowed to see. The silence of the Antarctic is a loud admission of a global conspiracy that transcends politics. It is the ultimate secret, frozen in time. So, the next time you see that signal loss message on a NASA stream, don't look away. Ask yourself why the curvature of the ice suddenly looked like the rim of an opening. Ask yourself why the most advanced sensors on the planet always fail at the same coordinates. We are living on the surface of a mystery we aren't supposed to solve. The ice is thinning, the secrets are leaking, and the blackout can't last forever. Something is waking up at the bottom of the world, and no amount of technical difficulties can hide the truth for much longer. Are you ready to see what's behind the blue screen? Because once the feed stays on, our world changes forever. The question isn't whether they are lying to us. The question is, what will you do when the veil finally drops?